Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Man Alone solo role playing YouTube channel. I'm your host, Man Alone, and today I have yet another game that does not fit on my play area. I've got to learn my lesson. I've got to start being realistic about how much junk I could put all over this place because look at this. Oh, sorry, you haven't seen the full game yet. That's the first half of it here. Well, it's kind of so that all right. Wait, so that's the first. Just gotta reach them. Okay, there we go. And then this is the second half. This is the map. And so you want to. The gameplay instructions are here, and then you got a few. You know what? Folds is a solo science fiction game about navigating a self-corrupting map of space where movement itself has consequences. On the top row here is the map, and if we shift this over just no, please cooperate just a bit here. On the edges, there are these radial. What is that? A compass? Anyways, so that's the whole map, and it's like 8 panels across, 4 up and down, so it's 16 panels, two-sided, so 32 total. And I pointed out the radial compass because you use that as a guide for mapping your journey. And that is significant because the game is all about the space. And I mean, in every sense of the word, it's outer space. It's about folds in space, but it's also about using the map space. And so the lines that you draw, and when you roll, you will get like a different one of those angles. And you basically trace a line parallel to that angle. And the lines themselves directionally lead you to certain places. And then they also intersect. But here's the important thing is that this is actually 3 games. So it's Collapse, Chasing Echoes, and Ephemeris. And not only that, the rules of play recommend that you do crossplay. Let's see if we can get here. Because the ideal version, I guess, of this game is palimpsestic, right? Like you keep playing, but you don't erase the dry erase marker lines. So I guess you could use actual markers if you want. And as you add more and more to the map, this actually is the pressure mechanism of the game. All right, it's not combat, it's not linear, it's risk management. And again, I'm going to keep preventing myself from chuckling because it's not funny. It's the chuckle you make when something's not funny. You go, it's risk management and spatial decision making, but it is on how you're actually using the map space because um, there's only so many times that you can cross the same path and your lines start intersecting. So this is a game from Rivethead Games. I got it for, I think it was 18 US dollars. And then the PDF was 10. I will say I'm not thrilled about that. They did not send a PDF with the physical copy of it, though I suppose that the PDF is, I don't know if you could Yeah, I guess you could play with just the PDF. It kind of takes the tactile element out of it. But this is a game that I will say for sure is like I don't know what the right axiom is, but it's something either like be careful what you wish for, you just might get it, or the worst thing is not getting what a terrible thing is not getting what you want, but the worst thing is getting everything you want. And this game, in a lot of ways, represents like everything I ever say that I want in a game, right? My ideal game is a game where every um, axis of it, and I'm saying like every phenomenological access of it, like its form, its function, its design, its size, its color, all of that is in alignment. And this game is that. I mean, it's a game that it just once it sort of fits together, it locks into place and just gives you everything. And maybe I'm over exaggerating a bit. We can go through it, and there's a couple of things like I wish there was more opportunity for creating my own narrative. A lot of it is procedural, so you're basically just like rolling for direction, then rolling on tables, then making resource choices and stuff like that. The stories themselves are extremely intriguing, and they're written by three different authors. All right, those three stories I named before. So, in a game like this, you know, if this were a 150-page game, would I want to be able to sort of press my fingerprint into the narrative of the game? Yeah. But games that are like this, uh, I don't as often use as a ruler like how much I participate in the narrative. It's more just about like before I am pushed off into the adventure, how robust is the narrative that they provide, and this one definitely does. The main loop that we're going to do here is that we're essentially if I and again each game is like a little bit different, but you're going to choose your direction. This would have been a lot easier to show you this. You're going to choose your direction or roll on these angles, and it does include a player sheet where you are just going. You can roll a d8, and I actually have these perfect dice from channel sponsor Dice Nest. You know, I mean, no, they're beautiful and everything, and of course, if you use a link below and use the promo code man dice alone, all one word. Middle word is dice alone. You get 20% off, and these are gorgeous. They're great. It's just that like I put out this here. I kind of wanted like a deep space theme, and oh wait, what's this? Malone, do not shine this in your eye. Shine it in the other direction. Okay. I guess at the what do I wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Stop the video. What is hello? Hello? In order to do this, I'm sorry, but are you serious that these photochromic dice before our eyes are bending space and time and turning black with beautiful inner illuminated starlight? But these surely cannot be eligible for the massive 20% off discount only from dicenest.com for Manalone viewers. I guess you wouldn't know about it otherwise. This is actually pretty awesome. Yeah, so these are photochromic dice, and actually, you know, if you're like, "Oh, cool, next time I get my UV flashlight, I'll be sure to do it." Not only like when you keep them, it's a little hard to see here. I mean, you can definitely see that like they turn. Oh, that is so good. But they also start to have this like this uh, hue that looks like a little bit like they're almost smoldering, and this not only works with this, but it also works in sunlight. So if you're somebody that doesn't know how to talk to others, you know, and you think, hey, every time I go to the park and just start talking to groups of people as I stand over them, they never want to talk to me. Let these do the talking. Say, and you could write this down. Wow, is sunny day outside? And then they say hello, and you say my dice, and then you roll them. All right, I got it. That is pretty cool. I mean, for real though, that is really cool. So yes, promo code man dice alone, all one word, 20% off your order. And Dice Nest, thank you as always for being a sponsor of this channel. We're gonna have some new dice coming from Dice Nest all month that we're gonna check out, but I just had to pair these up with this beautiful game by Ben Fol or about Ben. No, it has nothing to do with Ben Folds. I met Ben Folds for about 10 seconds in college. He performed at my university, and the next day he was sitting outside a building taking a picture of a tree. Ben, if you remember that, comment below. All right. So, why don't we start by just going over the rules? This is an 8-panel map. Each of these are folds, and when traveling between these folds, unique gameplay rules may occur. To travel, you draw lines on the map to track the path your ship makes. Bend these lines when you deviate. Okay. Hopefully that's, I don't really know if that's any better, but yeah, so movement is not going to be hex to hex. It's vector based. It's angle constrained. The folds are numbered 1, 2, 3, and the edges loop. So if you go all the way to an edge, you come back around, I guess, best you can. And while you're moving, you can cross previous lines, you can cross folds. And as you do this, you trigger anomalies, rifts, or tables. And tables are going to be the thing that most of the time is going to be the end result of your travel. As you're doing that, you're going to confume consume Sewell. You're going to consume your resources. And what is this? Fuel, water, taquitos, and Randy. And arrival, when you get to a place, it's always going to trigger a roll on a location specific table, a one time or persistent change of gameplay state, and you'll probably mark the map, or I guess, yeah, in some way, label something, erase something, put a symbol on there. Every movement is going to advance like emerging dimensions, risk spawning new ones, push the system toward collapse, a real anti-turtling engine. Um, and after arrival at these different places, you can gain or lose resources, convert resources, spend them to mitigate or delay risk. And then the thing is, though, is you also occasionally lock yourself into future consequences. That's pretty much the loop. So the easiest one is collapse. And so collapse here, let's see who collapse was written by. Collapse was Jean-Luc Larivière-Lacombe. That is a very French name. Jean-Luc Larivière-Lacombe. Folds is a unique solo RPG system inspired by Death in Space. And I got this because if you saw my Death in Space video a few weeks ago, I was like, where are all the Death in Space supplements? This is not a supplement for Death in Space, which I thought it was, but that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be. I just thought it was. So kind of cool that I got something different instead. So for Collapse, we're going to start the game by following the instructions in sections Bound for Stars, Subspace Anomalies, Dimensional Cascade, and Docking Station. So you have to go to each of those, and these are like the rules that apply. So which ones is it? Bound for the Stars. Yeah, it was literally in the paragraph under it. But here are the resources: fuel, volume of your fuel contained within your ship's reserves, wealth. This is the total of your money, knowledge, and other valuable assets, tech, equipment, and technology, resonance. Each symbol on the map corresponds to a specific location, and ruler. think I have a ruler. Yep, dry erase markers and a set of multi-sided dice. Got that. And a pencil and paper. And the player sheet basically just has a place for notes and a name. Um, there's a real problem on the horizon here for me. And any of you that are not right-handed know that this game is almost unplayable. I think by someone who is left-handed like myself. But I guess we'll try our best. Um, when it said to follow the directions, bound for stars is right here. So we roll 3d6 and assign the lowest value to resonance, then wealth, then tech in that order. Resonance being connection to the void. All right. So if we do a 3d6, but that's only 3 of them, right? So lowest value to resonance, then wealth, then tech, and start with 6 fuel. 3, 2, 2. Oh, okay. So lowest is going to be resonance. We'll use a trusty mouse ritter. So, oh man, I wish I had, maybe I'll find an eraser. So resonance, we'll just spell tech. And what was the one that was resonance, then wealth, then tech? So tech is 3. And then fuel is 6. So 2, 2. There we go. Find eraser. All right, then it says I need to draw 3 subspace anomalies on random folds. When traveled to during play, you may spend 1 tech to uncover their origin. Now, the win condition for this one is I have to gain 10 dimensional signatures. And I lose the game if there are no folds left on which to travel or the last remaining fold has no emerging dimensions to collapse. And so we need to figure out our starting location, use synergy and travel rules to move across the map, and exploration to collect resources. Visit subspace anomalies on your journey to collapse emerging dimensions as time passes. Okay. I have about a 10% understanding right now. So if you're at 11, congrats, genius. Draw 3 emerging dimensions. So we got to draw 3 subspace anomalies and 3 emerging dimensions. I think does this say, so that's planet, station. How do you draw a subspace anomaly? I thought like we have no idea. It's like saying draw a black hole. We don't know. We don't know what that is. Um, so we draw 3 subspace anomalies, 3 emerging dimensions, and assign their type by rolling on the emerging dimensions table. And then pick a station on the map, roll on the station table, and label the result. This is your ship's starting position. Um, all right. So let me actually do that now and see the map. Yes, I should probably say the story here. The soundless void encroaches upon the known universe, spewing forth from corrupt dimensions. They pollute the fabric of space, releasing their failing timelines into yours, bringing with them the end. Sounds like Marvel. You are one of the million cosmic sojourners, a group of individuals who aims to prevent this seemingly inevitable conclusion. You work together, but alone, taking your ships to the stars, bound for the vast expanse. There, it is up to you to seek and explore new worlds, discover alien intelligence, and most importantly, collapse the perilous dimensions. I see. These are your prime directives. Okay. For if you do not, their fate will undoubtedly become your own. Lost to the void, lost to the unknown. So, for the record, I'm not going to do this. But in Star Trek, the prime directive is you can't interfere with like the development of a planet, especially until they're ready to build warp technology. This doesn't say that. So any planet I see that with like any sentient life, I can stop there and say, "Hey everyone, just so you know, like I am your creator," and then kind of just check out what they have, Gold is good, cinnamon, nutmeg. Yeah, so the tables here for subspace anomalies, we have, well, let me just roll to see what we got. We have 2, a primordial soup. An emerging dimension appears at your location. Okay. Um, So we'll have to put 2 more of those. And down in the bottom left is emerging dimensions. And we start, I believe, one of them with like equipment. We can see what those do for us. But it's a lot of tables. But you got to think like this is 32 pages, so it's about right. So I get 1 random equipment and 1 random component. They're both D6. So equipment, I have a genetic resequencer, which cures a mutation once. And I have a void deflector component, which is +1 synergy to collapse. So again, you can see that there's 3 columns here, and at the top of them is the names of the 3 different games or parts of the story. So we'll just be playing Collapse. If anyone wants to get it, you could play those games as well, and then play them on top of each other, like as a cross play. But for this one, the altered state, if the fold you occupy dies and is consumed by the void, roll 1d6. That'd be a void storm. So there'll be some results with that. We could have pineal reconstruction, cybernetic trauma, among other things. So far, what I'm interested in is like this is a lot of brilliant stuff, and um, it the difference between like good and great here is if it sticks the landing, if it does come together, because if not, um, I know all about lots of great ideas and them just not fitting together at all, and the dangers of trying to make those fit together. So it takes like a real skill to do this, and with the amount of very talented people working on this, I have no doubt that from the conceptual standpoint it will. But I'm curious about the actual like use of it, because right now it's interesting that it almost has 2 types of appeals, right? We're always looking for a game that you can take out of your pocket and play. For instance, like Dragons of Etchinstone from Chip Theory. Not email me back yet. Just waiting on that one. This one is a game you could like, apparently a card game you play in your hands like this. And so that is one type of appeal. The other type of appeal is like we might call it pound for pound or bang for buck, where it's like, yeah, you get this, but you get this whole experience out of it. And so the question is like, is it portable? Is it big? Um, I don't think that would be the question for that many consumers, I think, would ask implicitly or overtly. But I think for them, the construction of this really didn't have much to do with that. It is all about the form following the function, right? Like the ideas presented should present themselves both in the game and outside of it. So, so um, the subspace anomalies will actually roll those when we get there to see what they are. And I looked through the book. There's no instructions on how to draw them other than just says draw them. And on one hand, I know that makes me look like a real dork. Be like, well, I don't know how to draw this. But the reason I was trying to figure that out was because um, if they're just a point on the map, then they're just a point on the map. But if they're an area of space or something like that, I didn't know if like because this game relies on intersecting lines, I didn't know if it's important because having something that's like a sphere is going to cause intersection, whereas a point will, it doesn't matter really where I put it or anything. But it says to put them on random folds. So I guess we'll just do 2, 4, 7. Um, and then it says draw 3 emerging dimensions on random folds at the start of the game, and assign their type by rolling on the emerging dimensions table. So this one, I decide on their type. I'm not quite sure if that is any different. We shall see. All right, so those are the emerging dimensions on the table right here. So we have a radioactive wasteland, a genetic contamination, and let's reroll so we have a different one. And material absence. I don't fully understand. Uh, I mean, okay, I get it. Like, there's this dimensional collapse; these different things are coming through. But like, for instance, number two is excessive terraforming, and I guess I don't understand how that's a dimension. That would be to me like an emergent phenomenon or something like that. It doesn't really matter. Um, but I like to understand like what sort of, because this map is all abstractions. And so if I'm not creating a story, if I'm just witnessing it as I encounter it, I sort of want to understand what I'm witnessing. And those have different dice rolls and damage, but it looks like we get some bennies, some benefits if we overcome those. So since I made the other ones X's and there's already like little circles for moons and stuff, I guess I will, for this one, I'll put them on 5, 4, and 8, and I'll make them squares. All right, then it says pick a station on the map and roll on the station table, label that result. This is your ship's starting position. So, let's see, the dry erase is, let's just do this one right here. And the map, I think, is, or there we go, there's the stations. And station, okay. Never missed a dice tray. 2. The collected cyborgs grant you 1 wealth each. Do I get that now? The collected cyborgs? We are collected. I think that's station. I mean, I don't see anything that says stations. I was looking initially for something that says dock. Oh, see, now here's a different station. So station D6. And then what's this? Station D6. Okay. So there's 2 station maps. I assume it's this one because this one has a name and the other ones are just like events. So trading port, convert wealth to tech. So that's my starting station. I think I would like fail a mental status exam. Like, I have tried to draw this twice and I can't draw it. Like, you'd think that I'd be able to, because I was like the kid at school that would like that had the S, like, that the cool guy S down pat. And I was also the first one to hit the ground running with the cube. Um yeah, so this is a whatever it is, we'll just say triangle. It's a trading port and it's wealth to tech. Okay. Okay. So if if we go to a planet, we could spend 2 wealth to heal our injuries, or 4 wealth to purchase a piece of equipment. Um, if we go to a station, we could spend 2 tech to repair all ship damage, or 4 tech to purchase a component. So I guess the components are for the ship. And then a moon, you can collect additional resources from there. Okay, so synergy used to determine the results of your actions. So this is like an interesting time for like a strong hit, weak hit sort of system to show up. So I'm curious how this is applied. You use to determine the results of your actions. Roll 2d6. Results of 5 or more on both dice is a success. 5 or more on just one is a partial, and 4 or less is a failure. You can spend a tech to increase one of the dice results by 1 for each tech spent. Bonuses and penalties to rolls are always applied to the lowest one. Result cannot be lower than 1. Resonance, you can spend a resonance to reroll any die once. And a crit is if you roll 2 nat 1s, causes all emerging dimensions on the map to age by 2 ticks. This result cannot be altered. So these emerging dimensions, those are apparently ticking, because I thought in the original thing said that it was like the travel lines that were causing pressure. Maybe that's for one of the other 3 games. But now these emerging dimensions have 2 ticks. If I get a crit success, my resonance goes up by 1. And then each time I travel between the folds, I mark emerging dimensions on the map with a tick as they grow toward their critical mass. Then I roll a 1d6. On a 1 to 4, I draw another emerging dimension on a random fold. So when an emerging dimension has 5 ticks, it reaches its critical mass. Okay? And can no longer be collapsed. Immediately roll on the catastrophe table. Okay, so the emerging dimensions are going to be like timers. So to travel, I select something within line of sight. I assume that means it's within the next fold over and is not blocked by a planet. Then roll synergy. On a success, travel there. Okay. On a partial success, deviate to the nearest location. Got it. And on a failure, age all dimensions by 1 and roll a random direction, stopping at the first location. So basically, I'm just like hurtling through space with no, like just on inertia. And I can spend a fuel to promote the result to the next category. I see. So like if I'm flinging myself through space, I could spend a fuel and that will push me up to just like having to miss my desired location, go somewhere else. And then upon arriving at an uncharted location, roll on the table to identify it, label it on the map, and then collect the listed resources once. Okay. To collapse an emerging dimension, travel to it and roll synergy. So once again, when it says roll synergy, it means we're rolling 2d6. You require a number of successes equal to the dimensional rating. So that's not dice roll, that's dimensional rating. Partial successes count, but injure you. So roll 2d6. A result of 5 or more is a success. 5 or more on just one is a partial success, and 4 or less is a failure. So in my mind, the most successes I can get is 1. And so do I have to do I have to I guess maybe I keep rolling the synergy until I get that many successes. And so say I roll a success and there's a dimensional rating of 2, then I've got 1 out of 2. Okay, now I roll again, I got a partial success. I did it, but I got injured. Or say that I go and I like fail 3 times. I keep getting injuries. Um, roll on the damage table a number of times equal to the dimensional damage. If you collapse the emerging dimension, gain the listed resources and a number of dimensional signatures equal to its dimensional rating, which is what I'm trying to collect. Okay, well, at least that's it. That's it for collapse. So I think I can do that. Um, I'm a little unclear on. I have to roll that many successes. I assume what I said is right. Like I keep re-rolling, and on partial, I get injured, and I have to roll on that table. And then failures, I have to roll on the damage table a number of times equal to the damage. Jeez. So like for instance, this radioactive wasteland, this is 3 damage. I only need 1 success, but I have to roll on the damage table 3 times. Okay. And I could lose, well, here. The damage table is down at the bottom here. So fuel leak, a hull breach, signal interference, engine failure, an electrical surge, which has an asterisk, but nothing. Oh, okay. It lasts until repaired. Let's try it. Let's try it. My sense right now is number one, um, the drawing of these lines. I'm not. I'm like. I know this is me doing like. Oh, I'm left-handed. It's good. Like it is going to be difficult. I drag my hand, so I'll have to keep my hand lifted. I'm also folding and reading, assuming that I didn't. Like most people, I assume are not going to also buy the PDF. I only did that because I wanted to be able to show you. And then also, um, my other feeling is that I'm going to die really quick. But let's just see. So I start here, and then I really hope that there's one of you that's like, "Oh my gosh, how are you not understanding this is great?" Because I actually want games to get to the right people's hands. So I'm not trying to be like negative. I'm just not having a very good time because it's too complicated. It's it's the actual object is too complicated. And like if I explore my feelings a little bit, I guess I should do that for the good of the order. Like I do feel that sometimes you'll have stuff like this that is the idea of it is really amazing, but you just have to wonder if somebody played it because um first of all, if you played it, I think you would say, well, it would be really cool to have this all be one thing, but clearly this is extremely difficult to do, and so we should separate out this map and make it like a separate card on top because every time I do something, I mean, I guess I could fold it out like this, but then every time I access a table, I flip it like that. And so I think um you know, I wouldn't say I'm like angry or anything like that. That would be absurd. But I'm saying that like um I just feel like as the consumers we have just such a low amount of information because we, especially if we're ordering online, we can't really use the object. And so we sort of like trust the people who develop it to be um sensible about these kind of things and say, well, we want people to have a really nice experience. And I the reason I did this video is I didn't see any videos of this online, and I thought this has been out since 2024. Um, it's $15. It kickstarted really quite well. It hit like its goal at 300%. And so I just wonder, something hits a goal at 300%. Why is there nothing online about anybody playing it? And I just wonder um if there's a certain category of stuff like this that is not made to be played. It's made to like exist. you know? That's that may or may not be true. I'm just saying what I'm thinking right now, which no matter what, somebody in the comments will interpret that as like my opinion. Could be. I'm just kind of giving you my thoughts live. So really, if you're saying you don't agree with my opinion, just to be clear, because it's usually the reverse. Usually people say like I don't think you're a bad person, I just think you're wrong. Just know that you're saying I don't think you're wrong, I just think you're a bad person. And that's good. That's fine. Say that. All right. So, let's just assume that we start on this guy right here, and then we are going to roll on the random directions table, which is a D8. Can't see it. Oh, a 6. Look at that. That's like okay. Um, so we did a 6. I did a number 6. Minus 301. That's like a whole season's biggest loser results. Oh, for goodness sake. All right, so minus 301 has to be on the other side because these are all positive numbers. So wait, there we go. So okay, so minus has to be this way. So I guess I would like go across. See, this is actually pretty cool. If it was just like this is kind of cool because it's almost like a little puzzle here. If I didn't have to open it and use it all game, that would be really cool. All right, so we have minus 301. My damn ruler. You guys see my... All right, so we're here. The angle would be like parallel to it, so we put it like that, and then we would bring it here, and we go across here, and oh, you know what? Damn it. I gotta roll it's a corporate word. Synergy to see if I even was able to do it. So let's just use this here. So I'll keep these as my synergizers. Okay, so I failed, right? Because a 4 or more is a partial, a 5 or more is a success, and less than 4 is a fail. So that means I just have like gone in a random direction. So then I would have okay, so we could still do the 301 here because what I should have done is I should have said where do I want to go and then rolled, and then if I got a random direction, I guess I would have gone along that. But here now I go just until I hit something. So this is actually really interesting right now because I do feel excited right now. Like, what am I going to hit? And see, this is why I needed to know whether this is a point or a thing, because truly, it's just unbelievable. This is exactly what I was saying. This square right here, if it's a square, I'm going to hit it. But if it was like a little point, I wouldn't. We're going to hit it. All right. So that is on 8. That is genetic oh, good. This is good. This is great. So this is so this is the one that is um I have to get 1 success, and if not, I roll 3 damage, but if I conquer it, I get 3 fuel. The one thing I am wondering is I was supposed to do something when I go into a new tile or fold. And I'm wondering if I was supposed to tick off every single genetic anomaly, because pro tip actually, if that's the case, I'm not doing it on there. I'd rather just do it on this sheet of paper here and then just say that, like, just put the ticks on here, because this is too difficult. Um every time I fold it, it erases. Yeah, so every time I cross into a new fold, I need to advance the emerging dimensions slash dimensional cascade with one tick. So I'm just going to do this. So this is, I think it's 4, 4, 5, and 8. Well, I guess they're down here actually. So I could just do, they all get a tick. And then this one here, I have to roll one success. And if I get a partial, if I get both of them are 5 or more, it's a success. Only one um only one that's 5 or more is a failure. And then if none are 5 or if only one, then it's a partial. If neither, it's a failure. Ones and sixes on both are crits. Oh my god. This game rules, dude. Okay. All right. So I guess, like, if I was being a serious player right now, I would spend resonance, right, to re-roll that. But it says rolling 2 natural ones causes all emerging dimensions on the map to age by 2 ticks. Yeah, see, okay. No, I can't. I actually can't re-roll that, because it says here on page California. What in it says critical failure. Rolling 2 natural ones causes all emerging dimensions on the map to age by 2 ticks. This result cannot be altered. Cannot be altered. And so um that is 2 ticks, so they're all at 3 out of 5. And uh it's also a failure on collapse. And so it says partial successes count but injure you, and failures require you to roll on the damage table a number of times equal to the dimensional damage. If you collapse the emerging dimension, gain the resource. So that's not going to happen. So now I'm going to roll 3 times on the damage table. I would never put my dice nest dice through that. You stay over here. You've been good all day. We're just going to do this all at once, okay? So we have 3 of these. The table's right there. 1, 2, 6. All right. So I have a fuel leak. I've lost tech with a hull breach. And 6 is the worst one. It's one ship component stops functioning. And I have one ship component. It is the void deflector, which is +1 synergy to collapse. Oh, wait a minute though. +1 synergy to collapse. So does that mean that I get an added +1 on my roll? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It blew up. All right. Cool. Cool. I'm gonna have a Nutrigrain bar really quick. I'll be right back. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Like, I lose a tech and a fuel, but while I was folding the book, it just erased these. So it did it. That's kind of like an automatic, like an automatic adjuster, I guess. Very cool. Only apple Nutrigrain left. So we have 5 fuel. And let's keep cruising. Now, wherever we go next, just know that if I go to another fold, I will uh, get another tick. And then if I do another one, I don't even know. Let's see. I'm going to go to here. That looks like a safe place. That is a moon. And on a moon, I collect additional resources. Fine. It's close. I got to get a good roll here. Come on. Give me a parshi. Give me a parshi. Oh, yeah, baby. You see that? That's the Jorma way. Do I get anything for a crit success for that? Uh, oh, rolling 2 natural 4s, 5s, or 6s increases your resonance by 1. Now something's happening. All right. So I go to this moon, and I guess there's a table. If you're still watching the video, comment. I can't even. I can't. When I'm making a video, I'll be like, would I keep watching this? All right. So let's see here. A moon is D6, and one type of is there gas giant moons, or is that like moon in the widest sense of the word? Okay, let's see what we got here. We have a moon, 5. And we have a stellar exchange. Sell equipment or no, I'm selling it. I don't give a shit that it's that's their problem. There's no lemon law for spaceship components. Yeah, I'm selling it. So I say, "Hey, how you fellas doing? Boy, these dimensions really collapsing out there today. Anyways, you're some sort of squid creature. Um, you you see the latest tech they have? I have one of these extra the void deflectors. Mhm. Um yeah, so what do you think? You interested? This is a seller exchange, and they say I go, "Great. So we'll take 2. It's got to be tech cuz I only have 1. And I could travel again. Um but that'll put me at 4th tick. I shouldn't have done that because technically I could like fail miserably and it will give me like some sort of angle that I have to go this way. But let's see here. I'm going to go to is this I'm going to go here because this is where I want to get. So I hope to go right there. Hey, 2 5s. All right, and I get a resonance. Looks like everything's coming up, Jorm House. Let's see here. We get another resonance. And we go. That gets ticked off. Just like me. And this would be a good place to end the video because this is the last sort of like mechanic that we need to know how to play. Because after I press stop, I'm calling my friends. Hey, I'm not gonna be able to come out tonight. I'm folding. I fold. I guess I'm crying a little bit. All right. So, I'm upside down. Whatever. All right. So this here now is very Midwestern. This here now is a subspace anomaly. When traveled to during play, you may spend one tech to uncover their origin. And we roll on the table. After collecting an anomaly, erase it from the map. Cool. So let's see. I will spend a tech. And then we're going to see what the subspace anomaly is. Ship graveyard. What in the hell is going on with? All right, I got a ship component. I got to roll. I got to roll to see what it is. I swear, if I'm not kidding right now. Let me make sure I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. If I get a void deflector right now, I am going to just stop the video and upload it. I'm going to stop it immediately. Okay? So if I roll a 3, number 6, temporal array. Spend 1 resonance to reduce an emerging dimension's age by 2 ticks. You must be located on its fold. Am I on? Look at that, guys. I mean, come on. I'm not on its fold. And I erase it. Oh, but wait a minute. Yeah, I erased this, but the ship component, um, that's like just like installed in my ship, so I can use that once. Let's have the end of video discussion, shall we? Okay, everybody. So, this is like a great learning opportunity for me, for you, I think for everybody, because let me like stop being like doing a bit right now for a second. That actually is kind of a cool game. Like that's a cool premise, and the it is quite like genius. I mean the ability to lock those kind of things together and make both of those things happen at the same time with like what is happening in the game as well as what is actually happening in physical reality. That's awesome. And I appreciate and I am grateful for anybody who puts themselves out there and makes a game. And who realizes their vision and who creates something like this, okay? And so what I think is easy to confuse sometimes, especially with like the Kickstarter like crowdfunding stuff, is that the especially in solo games, right? Because you don't have that social reinforcement of things, so the game is what it is and it has to have an allure, and I get that. Um it would be one thing if this game just like wasn't my jam. It would be another thing if the game just wasn't that good. But this game is my jam and it's a good game. Um but it is something that I think um works better as a product than a property. And what I mean by that is um when I talk about a lot how the idea of a game is this happens with solo games so often, is so thrilling. It is so enchanting. It's so magical that it can be hard to actually initiate play because the moment, and this is, I guess, kind of ironic given we're collapsing dimensions, the moment I play that game, whatever it could have been collapses. And now it is something, right? It existed in quantum reality. And so the the issue I have with that is it sends weird market signals, okay? Because um ideally if our trade here is in a hobby that involves creating rule sets and contexts to use those rules and mechanics and to play an imaginary game that we all know could be played with a lot more ease, a lot more features, a lot more everything if it was a video game. Like a video, think of a video game version of Folds, right? I'd just be like holding this button. Okay, I'm going to travel there. Okay, do I want to stop on this moon? Oh shoot, I have like a subspace anomaly. All right, I got a button mash or whatever. It's an experience that is much easier, is much more uh like to our sensorium, it's much more um, exhilarating, right? But there's a reason that we defy that. There's a reason we say, I don't want that experience. I would rather travel to that place on my own, with my own hands, with my own tools, with my own mind. And the reason for that is not because we're some sort of like knee jerk techno reactionaries. The reason for that is because games like Folds, when they're video games, dime a dozen, those come cheap, right? Um, and we just have learned our lesson. So many of us have learned our lesson. We've played Candy Crush. We've played the newest game. We've gotten all the stuff, all the features. Now, 32-bit, 64-bit, don't even track the bits anymore, right? These games are amazing, and no matter what, we've played those, and no matter the promise of video games, we always come away feeling like we wish we were more involved. We wish that we were more um intimately involved in creating whatever is happening here. And so that feeling is this sense of fulfillment, this co-creation. And it's interesting because as soloists, we're not co-creating with a group, we're co-creating with the creator. We're like sort of like finishing what they started. We are responding to the letter. And because of this, because actually creating a visual image of this in a video game is clearly easier. The experience of a video game is better. I'm saying in terms of like the visual presentation of it. It looks better because we're just projecting it with the imprecise low resolution imagination of our mind. And so when we do that, um the main assessment of that game should be that game. It should be the experience of playing that game. Okay? Because all the other stuff is great. It's cool if it's got a cool book, it's cool if it's got awesome art, right? That stuff is awesome. Um but after a while, when you start trading on the aesthetics of it, it starts to give weird market signals. And what it does is it reinforces at 300% funding a game that is um, logistically difficult to play. And because of that, quite frustrating. And it is a game that got in the way of itself. Clearly, this is not a, this isn't, this is not preference. There is nobody that says, I want to fumble around a game and erase the things that I just made and flip over all these cards and have no way of knowing like which page I'm going to. Um, so the reason though that it was made like this is because this is sexy. And this has allure, and it promises you an experience. And unfortunately for most people, they don't get past the promise. And so they're not able to assess what the actual game is. And so this is a beautiful game. It's a good game, but because it's presented as the way it is, and you don't have a PDF to even go with it to help, I don't think I could have done that with just this. I think I would have pulled my hair out. Like, but as it is, it's a collector's item.